Hey guys, Kyle Harris here with Hoss Job Hitting. Wanted to talk about front shoulder. I get a lot of kids that come in and say my coach or my parents are saying I'm pulling my front shoulder. There's a lot of reasons this is happening, okay? The very first thing I want to talk about is just posture, all right? So if I'm set up at the plate here, this way, I have to have my posture set so my hips are back a little bit. And different hitters have different approaches for this. You'll see some hitters that get really low, and I know most of you aren't real familiar with this, but I'm gonna use an example of somebody that's kind of like an over-exaggeration. So if you go look up Mo Vaughn's really back down this way. Now, I don't recommend that, but you can also see hitters that are standing upright when they start. The thing is all of them get into their back hip. All of the good hitters, the great hitters, at every level are gonna figure out a way to get into their back hip and get into that hinge pattern, okay? So from this view, it's gonna look this way. And there's a lot of benefits to that, but we have to be in that position. If we're not in that position, we're not gonna be able to rotate. So if we're already standing up and we're not in a hinge, we can't rotate with our lower body very well. So to get going, we're going to pull our front shoulder. We're gonna pull our front shoulder. And really what it is the front shoulder is pulling out in this sense because the back hip is working to the plate. So I've got the plate right here, and if my back hip starts to work to the plate, you can see my front shoulder does the complete opposite, okay? So I'm here, my front shoulder's out, and now I've lost all tension in my body. We have to remember that all athletic movements of the body are basically like stretching a rubber band and letting it go. Our muscular system and our fascial system work in an elastic type way. So if I don't have any tension, I have to create tension. So I'm pulling that front shoulder because it makes me feel strong. So if we lose that back hip, the front shoulder is gonna go out, all right? Now, sidebar, I also hear a lot about pulling the head, okay? With young kids, you might see young kids that are head driven because some of them, their head can be up to 20% of their body weight. So they might drive things with their head. That could be a possibility. Most of the time, what we see with the head pull is that we're losing the back hip, the front shoulder pulls, and the head is following the front shoulder. Okay, that's one reason we pull the head. Another reason we pull the head is because we swing hard, we come through, we expect impact to hit the bat. So our body's preparing for impact of a ball that's traveling 40 to 100 mile an hour, right? And we're swinging that bat, expecting impact, and we're bracing. The impact doesn't come when we swing and miss, so we swing, miss, and then the result is that the head is following this violent rotation and it comes out. So we all have access to pocket computers or cell phones. So if you think that you're pulling your head, or as a parent or coach, you think a player is pulling your head, I would definitely take some video, and I would even use slow-mo to see if a player is actually pulling their head when they swing or pulling their front shoulder when they swing. A lot of times what you'll see with somebody that has a decent swing and keeps their posture is that they're gonna come through this way, swing, miss, get to this point, the momentum of everything pulls them out of their posture, and then that goes. You can't see that with the naked eye. So I would suggest using that video to see that. Now back to that front shoulder issue. We've got our back hip, right? If we stay in posture, we should not see that front shoulder fly. That front shoulder is gonna work back this way. So if I'm in this position here, I keep my posture, I rotate the hips, the back shoulder works back. Even on a high ball, if I'm going at a high ball this way, that front shoulder is gonna be relatively quiet if I keep posture. If I lose posture, I'm gonna have to pull. I can't rotate with my hips anymore because I'm already in hip extension, okay? Hip extension comes from rotation. I like to use the term, we rotate to extend, we don't extend to rotate. We're not pushing out this way and then trying to rotate. If we do that, we've lost the lower body, and the upper body is now what's grabbing our rotation. If the upper body has to lead rotation, yes, we're gonna turn very much in this way, like a top or a merry-go-round. So we're gonna turn with that front shoulder out, okay? So that's one reason why you pull that front shoulder. is because you lose that back hip to the plate. The front shoulder starts this way. I have no more base to rotate around, so I have to pull this way to get through, and then we end up having a swing with very poor direction. Another reason we pull the front shoulder is visually, okay? If I've got a young kid or somebody that's not seeing the ball well with both eyes, all right? So if I'm here like this, or I got my head this way, or I'm not comfortable with picking the ball up, I'm gonna pull that front shoulder. And you can see when I did that, even if I pull my front shoulder, the back hip goes that way. It has to. It's a body balance thing. So if I pull this way to see the eyes, I've already started my rotation, I have nothing left, and I have to do this. And then the head follows, and that's the big flaw that we see. And it's caused because we're not picking the ball up, or we're not comfortable letting the ball travel to us. We're trying to get a better view of it. The body's always gonna organize itself for protection. So think about an 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, even a 15-year-old kid, boy or girl, they're in here not seeing the ball well, right? And all of a sudden they're not seeing it and they wanna do this. They need to see it. Because if they're not seeing it well, it could look like we don't know the perspective of it. It's coming out of a right-handed thrower, and I'm this way and I'm not seeing it, I'm gonna wanna open this way, right? Because now I can see that ball and I can protect myself. The problem is I've lost my posture. So I've lost my tension. I've lost anything that's gonna allow me to rotate with direction, and I just spin off the ball with that shoulder. So that's a second reason why we see people or hitters pull their front shoulder. Another reason we see it is because they don't have the ability to rotate, right? So if I break it down and I put you in this position with your feet this way, and you can't disassociate your hips. You'll see kids doing this, you'll see them turning this way. If they don't know how to disassociate their hips, and they don't have the coordination or muscular control to do that, they're gonna have to buy rotation somehow. So if they can't do that, if they can't take their back knee and rotate it this way, in this movement, right? They're gonna have to get rotation somehow. So what they do is they step out, because when I step out, look what my hips do. They naturally just kind of open into that. They watch us, they watch the good hitters, they see the good hitters in this position rotate those hips open. They're trying to get that bat out front, they just don't have the coordination or muscular control to do that. So what they're doing is they're either gonna step out to get the hips going, or they're gonna pull their front shoulder, because this feels strong. This makes me feel strong, because it creates tension. It doesn't create tension in the right spot. It doesn't create tension that's directional. It doesn't create tension that allows me to take the barrel of the ball to the middle of the field and impact the ball with authority. But it does give me momentum. It does give me tension. It does give me the elastic feeling of being strong. So I can pull this way. Now the muscles are stretched, the fascial lines are stretched, and I feel like I'm producing power even though it's without direction. So that's another reason we pull that front shoulder, okay? A fourth reason could just be timing. The most important thing we can ask ourselves about hitting is, did I get a good pitch to hit? The second most important thing we can ask ourselves about hitting is, am I on time? If you're doing both of those things and still struggling, then it could be a mechanical issue, or a visual issue, or a reaction issue, or a bat speed issue. But if we're not doing those two things, it's difficult for us to go and figure out what's going on. We need to swing at a good pitch, we need to be on time. If we're not on time, if we're late, right, and our front foot's not in a position, and our back hip's not in a position for us to rotate well, we might open up. We might open up to try to get things going earlier, all right? If we're late or if we're early, we might do that to buy time, okay? Our body might say, well, if I swing this way, I'm gonna swing and miss, so I'm gonna buy time by pulling out, making my swing longer. So timing can also cause that front shoulder to fly open. There's a lot of things at play that cause that front shoulder to fly open. We have to understand that that's a symptom of what's happening earlier on in the swing. So the very first thing we need to do if you see a player, or you as a player are pulling your front shoulder, is to make sure that we have proper posture and a proper base. Okay, and to do that, we're just gonna get ourselves set up here in a nice, comfortable position. I want you to get erect, and And then I just want you to take your butt and push it behind your heels, okay? Notice how I'm not bending. I'm taking my butt, pushing it behind my heels, okay? Now my knees, I'm just gonna get them nice and soft. I don't want my knees in front of my toes. If I get my knees in front of my toes, I'm gonna end up swinging this way. And see where the front shoulder is? I've gotta have my knees back. Now in this hinged position, all I wanna do is just turn my whole body this way. And I wanna stay over here. So I've got this hinge, forward bend, and then I'm just gonna rotate and turn that forward bend into side bend. That's the very first thing we wanna master. If we can do that, then we know our body has the ability to maintain a hinge and to rotate without pulling my front shoulder up and out. Okay, remember that front shoulder should be going this way, straight back. It's just pulling straight back, right? It's down, and then it's pulling straight back as I rotate. So that's a great drill. You can use your bat across your chest. You can get a PVC pipe. I actually like the bat because we can use the knob, and as a coach or parent, you can watch the knob. And if that knob is going this way, I know they're losing their back hip or shifting weight forward. We want that knob to kind of work down and forward. Right there. So that's a great drill to start to make sure they're getting in the right position. Another good drill we can do is just that simple hip disassociation. We're here and we're just trying to learn how to rotate the pelvis on its own. And if we can't do that, grab onto something and brace yourself. If you still can't do that, have an adult or a teammate hold your shoulders, and then you do it as they're holding your shoulders, because that's gonna let you stabilize, okay? So those are two really good things that you can do as part of your warm-up to learn how to get in the right postured position, to learn how to get the hips going, and then work that shoulder back, all right? As far as hitting drills that we can do, one drill that I like is the split stance, or I call it the Stanton, because we're gonna have that back foot probably even with the front heel. We're gonna be closed off. We wanna make sure we're not getting wide this way, like that. We wanna be relatively close here. And we're in this position, set that tee out over the plate, probably the front corner there. And then from here, I'm already closed. And I'm just trying to keep my hips back and just feel myself working through the ball that way, okay? Because if I pull my shoulder, there's no chance I'm hitting that ball. So I've got to stay in and then work here, okay? So we're trying to fix the flaw of the front shoulder flying by putting us in an overly hinged position and learning that I can still work the bat all the way to the ball. Second drill that I like to do for people that pull their front shoulder is the opposite. We're feeding the flaw of the shoulder opening. And I call this one 3/4 overload. So if we use the back angle of the corner of the plate, our toes are gonna be in line with that. We set the tee wherever it needs to be. From here, we sit back, we rotate the hips, and now if I wanna lead with my shoulder, if I wanna lead this way to get tension, I'm gonna feel it right away. So we can challenge the athlete by putting the tee on the outside corner and deep, and then telling them, the only thing you're doing with that front shoulder is pulling straight back. And we can go to extension, or we can have them swing all the way through. And you can see I'm hinging, I have a forward bend, I'm trying to take that forward bend and then turn all the way through the ball, turning it into side bend. Those are two great drills that we can do to help with pulling that front shoulder. Another thing we can do, if it's visual, if we think it's visual, is just making sure that the batter is set up in a position that they can get both eyes on the pitcher. And if that means that we're gonna open up slightly, that's fine, okay? Especially if it's somebody that has body control. If we think it's a visual thing, we have to get them comfortable seeing balls. So what you can do is just have them stand here and just watch pitches. Watch overhand pitches, watch pitching machine, just watch it all the way in. And think to themselves, how deep can I let the ball travel before I'm gonna start my swing? And they don't even swing. They're just using space and time to learn when their reaction is. That's another great thing for visual. If that doesn't work, have them stand this way in the box and have them just watch balls all the way in. Watch them in all the way, picking it up, make sure they're picking up out of the hand or right out of the chute of the machine. Then we can go to that 3/4 stance, same thing. Watch it in, watch it in. Then we go to our normal stance, watch it in, watch it in. Then we close them off and watch it in as well. We're just watching it in because this is making us now track the ball with both eyes for a long period of time. After you do a round of 8 in each position, open, 3/4, normal, and closed, you can start all the way back over and hit from these same positions. I'm this way, and again, if I'm pulling out, you're gonna see it right away and they're gonna feel it right away. So I go from here, and I work that front shoulder straight back, and I'm trying to drive everything up the middle. Then I go to the 3/4 drill, the overload drill, same thing, front shoulder straight back. Then I go normal, and then I can go to the Stanton drill with flips or overhand or machine, and I'm just trying to work through feeling that I can keep that front shoulder in and still launch my swing. So those are some drills that you can do. The biggest thing is understanding as a coach, player, or parent is why I'm pulling my front shoulder. Is it visual? Is it because I can't get into my posture the right way? Is it because I don't have the ability to rotate my hips so I have to get started? Or is it a strength thing? If it's a strength thing and you're a younger kid, you could drop the hands, pull the front shoulder because you're creating stretch, which then makes you feel stronger and more powerful. So figure out what's causing you to pull your front shoulder. And then from there, we can attack the root cause and not just the symptom. That's it for today. If you guys have any questions about what we talked about with the front shoulder, leave a comment down below. If there's any other videos that you would like to see from us or any questions you have about the swing in general, please let us know that as well. Thank you.